Hey everybody, it's Modern Refugee, having my coffee this morning. And preparedness doesn't have to be complicated. I think people overcomplicate preparedness way too much in this day and age. Our ancestors did it. It was just the way that they lived. It was just a simple rhythm of living with the seasons and putting up for the winter and growing in the spring. And taking things in stride and dealing with things as they came along. But they all had a certain amount of personal resiliency. And, nowadays modern preparedness has become sort of a business. It's a typically American response to a problem. If there's a problem, they throw a bunch of money at it. And, well, it's all right to have resources. I know people that are much more financially able to be prepared than what I am, and even skills wise, have a lot more technical knowledge than I do. And I've literally had people tell me, it's too overwhelming to even think about something like that going wrong. And there lies the problem. It's not that overwhelming, at least not the way I think of it. It's not overwhelming to have a month's worth of food at the house. It's not overwhelming to have some way to purify your water or have an alternate means to secure water, which is, very important. It's not that difficult to keep a full tank of gas in your vehicle. It's not that difficult to think about, hey, what if I have to walk home from this place or another, or, for some reason my, ability to move myself one place to another is hindered. How would I work through that? That's as simple as just a video that I did here recently, having somebody drop you off a certain distance from home and walking home and taking a few items with you to see how those items work for you in your particular environment. It's not that difficult to have just a little bit of cash on hand in case something happens with the electronic funds that they're forcing us all into. It's not that overwhelming. It's a simple process. Our ancestors survived with a lot less than what we have now, and I think we've been hypnotized to a certain extent that we have to have all this gear and stuff to survive. And while some tools are essential, they're the very basic ones. And that simplicity, I think, is lost somewhere in the preparedness genre as it is today. Think about it. If you have a month's worth of food, you have a way to store a little bit or purify a little bit of water, you have a little bit of cash on hand, your vehicle is maintained, and it's up to snuff if you have to move yourself from an unsafe location to a safe location. If you have the ability to protect yourself from the elements, whether it be cold or hot, cold is our thing up here. So, having extra coats and extra blankets and stuff in a vehicle, having extra stuff at your house to stay warm if for some reason your heating goes out in the worst possible time, because things always happen at the worst possible time. If you have that ability to stay warm or generate a little bit of heat, if you have something as simple as a few battery packs to charge your personal devices, your cell phone, your tablet, whatever, if you have a few backup ways to do that where you don't necessarily just have to plug that into the wall to get the grid electricity to do that, whether it's, as something as simple as having a cord to plug into your vehicle, into the cigarette lighter to charge a phone, something that simple. And then the other one that I hear a lot nowadays is, man, I live in a hot climate. What am I going to do if the air conditioning goes out? What do indigenous people do that live in hot climates do? They shed clothing. What about the old adage of the siesta? Well, what is a siesta? During the hottest part of the day, you don't do anything. You do your work in the cooler part of the day. The old timers did that up here too. In the hottest part of the summer, they canned in the middle of the night. They canned super early in the morning or late in the night, so that heat didn't make it even worse if it was hot outside, because canning season isn't in the hottest part of the year typically. So it was these simple things It's these simple things that will get people through things. Yes, there can be massive catastrophes that happen, but as a general rule, a lot of things that take place are small, regional, localized things, whatever, whether it be the electronic funds transfer at the big box stores goes out, whether it's a power outage, a small one in a small area, whether it's a town or a township or a certain geological reason, whether there's a snowstorm in the wintertime where you're snowed in for a few days, maybe 2-3 days before the snowplow gets down to you. We still have that around here. There's some back roads around here. There's a bad storm. People can't get out for 2 days. It's just, so it would be prudent to have 2 days worth of food on hand, and even a little bit more if you're able to. And I think most people can put together a month's worth of food fairly simply. Just look at, 2 meals a day, what you eat, what you use in that particular time. In the summertime's even better, because if you have a small garden, if you're growing a few potatoes, you have some herbs, you got a couple of tomato plants out on your porch, whatever, that all supplements that. And that all stretches the stuff that you put up in your pantry even further. And the same thing with having, a little cash. You got a little cash, something happens, you got to get a tank of gas, you got to pick up a couple of things, something happens at the pharmacy when, you have to pick up a prescription, you got a little cash where you can pay for that. And you have that stuff, just in your wallet or your purse, and if something happens, you can just pull that out and you can use that, because that's what it's there for. Another thing is, a lot of preppers will get into the anxiety. They'll get into a lot of anxiety when they have to start using their preps. Oh man, I have to use my preps, and I'm starting to deplete my stockpile or whatever it has. That's what it's there for. It's, you don't want to use it, but that's what it's there for. Don't get to the point where you're going to worry about what's happening down the road and forsake the moment where you need that stuff. And that's another thing. The old timers didn't have any problems using the stuff that they put up, because they knew they were going to put up more stuff in the future. And that's another sort of key aspect of preparedness that's sometimes lost in the modern way that preppers look at things today. But anyway, I just thought I'd make this little video here to talk about just the simplicity of it all. And if you're thinking about starting preparedness, if you happen to stumble across this video, start with the basic stuff: food, water, shelter, a way to get home if something gets wrong, some basic items that'll help you get through a bad situation, like a short power outage. Have a couple of battery packs around, have an alternate way to charge your devices so you can communicate with loved ones, family, and friends. It's just the basics, and the basic stuff aren't that hard to for everybody to get on board with preparedness. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys got a little information, a little entertainment out of this video here, just expanding on, or in this case, contracting down to the basics of preparedness. Anyway, you guys have a good one.